So Commissioner Castillo,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Raridan,
Here.
Commissioner Olita Reed. She is present. Vice Chair Alexander
Here.
and Chair LaBelle. All right, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, review of agenda. If there are any items that arose after the 72-hour posting deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda, and there must be a 2/3 or 57% majority vote required. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda? None? Okay. The agenda stands as it is. Okay, item number 4 will be public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city, but not on this agenda, may do so during the public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. And for the record, please state your name. Do we have any visitors who would like to speak to the commission on public comment?
Is this item on the agenda
For the
as far as bringing
that
ideas to?
yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes,
just a question.
business person.
Thank you.
Okay, good question. Thank you. Does anybody else have a public comments question or not question, but comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comments. Okay, and then we are on to business items. And we are on 5A. We closed the public comment, but I don't know. Diane, you have I'm assuming you have a comment under business item. Okay, so we'll wait till we get there. Okay, 5A. Receive a presentation and provide feedback to staff regarding the land use and community design elements of the revised public draft general plan.
Vice Chair, the presenter for this item asks if they could be moved to the last item as he's coming from another presentation for another commission from the Oldenmeyer Center.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Move that, just juggle things around a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, then we'll move item B to item A. And that'll be the consideration of the July of this year's House of the Month. And do we have pictures? Looks like we do.
These.
Hey, who took a picture of my house? So did everybody have a check soon? I have.
There's copies.
Is that a mess? Well, these are nice. Wow, that's sweet. Is there anything we should know? Is there anything we should know from staff about these houses to activate on staff or council or?
That there was no notes on that, other than that it belongs to any city staff or any council that I'm aware of.
Who said?
I didn't.
Tiffany, you did?
No, I did not. Wait, this is Sandra?
Probably.
Okay, so I know what my first pick and second pick is.
wanna go ahead and make a motion then, or?
I motioned that, 1395 Military Avenue is number 1. And are you guys okay with this for number 2? Yeah. I'm with you on number 1. Yeah.
We got this one, the other one?
Did you see these over here, John? Yes.
And,
What's the address?
for number 1, 1395 military, no, okay. It was number 2.
Just send it.
Oh, Tiffany, what was number 2?
Well, I was proposing 1705.
Number 2,
Yeah.
okay.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. Good eye.
This area. Yeah.
They're all
I did.
kind of all rehash, aren't they? All houses.
When is it well, I said, yeah, it's you and you'll look at the spot. You like green and blue houses, right?
Yeah, wow, these are really nice. Okay. Does anybody have any other order that they would like to propose? No? Okay. So we have is for house number 1, somebody to be proposing 1395 military, and the second is 1705 military. Do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, that was my motion.
Motion,
Did
okay.
somebody second it? I'll second.
Okay, so the motion is for House of the Month for July. Again, 1395 military as number 1, and second, or number 2, 1705 military. All in favor of that, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, carries. Good. Nice picks.
And that was for which month? June or
That was
July?
for July. That's for July.
Yes, yes, it does.
Does anybody have who's got August? Call.
Yeah.
You have nothing yet? I think
That was probably, here we go, too much in a row.
Oh, that's right, so.
Look, I do hate them.
Good job. Okay, so you have August as well,
Yeah.
no?
I think we stopped.
Okay, I'll find out from. Jackie. Okay, so now is our huge one. We've got for the item number B will now be continued consideration for the upcoming projects in the fiscal year of 2023-2024. Okay, for a little bit of background on this for visitors. Thanks to Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco, he talked to I believe the headway for this.
a good idea.
To bring some of the TOT tax to the commissions in which we are the steward in order to come up with a project for the for the city that falls in line with the strategic plan, and something that we can all kind of work together on. Now so let me quickly, if I may, just back up a little bit to what I thought we were going to do and what I found out today, which is just valid, but a concern that I have about a possible way we might go about this, and this we can talk about real quick and then get some public comments. So when this was proposed to us by Mr. Little a couple months ago now, maybe 2 months ago, we heard about this in the amounts. I thought that the goal was to have the different commissions and organizations in the city, including POSPA and Sustainable Seaside, to work together with to come up with a project that would use the funds and towards something that would benefit or that we could all see benefiting our commissions and groups. And keeping in mind that NIC is a steward of this, the NIC will propose this to the city council, what we have by the end of this year, not fiscal year, but by the end of the year. And therefore, we had kind of batted around the idea of having a subcommittee, an ad hoc committee of members of the commissions, including Parks and Rec, Arts Commission, Sustainable Seaside, us, and FOSBA, for the environmental as well. Which would have been fine, I suppose. And doing that, and here was my concern, doing that would have had all representatives from all the commissions and groups working together towards a project that we could all have input in. And then go from there, come up with something that, and then propose it to the city council. It would take quite a few meetings because we don't have much time. Would take, I would have thought probably at least 2 meetings per month, so we can, get all the information we need and then go forward. And our representative from NIC would come back to the NIC and let you all know, let us all know what the project is or projects that we being NIC would propose to the city council. So that's one way to do it. And my impression was that way we could get input from all the other groups to come up with projects. The other way to go about it is to have presentations from the other groups, the commissions and the Sustainable Seaside and FOSBA. And then we would talk about it, we would discuss it, and then make our recommendation to the city council based on what we come up with. My concern with that way, and this, I want us to talk about this tonight, my concern of doing it that way is that I'm afraid that each commission and group is going to, rather than us come up with a project that is, and I just thought about this since I saw you all today, is that rather than come up with projects that we all have input on, we're going to be discussing a project that is still what I thought was we're trying to break down, and that's that silo effect. Each group comes up with what they want to see, what they want, and then we start discussing. So are we going to have the wherewithal to discuss something that we're getting a presentation on, but what those groups want that they represent? You understand? Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure that's going to be a problem or not. It's cleaner. We get to hear directly from the individual groups what they would like to see, but those presentations are not going to be given to us, the stewards of this fund, based on those silos being broken down and people talking. So that's my concern.
And then we don't have any input. We have no input other than voting.
Right,
on
right.
what's coming in.
Yeah, and we just spoke about this afternoon at the little thing we had out on the city lawn. And it was only after I left, I thought, well, there's some problems with this.
But how about a combination of the two? First presentations, we discuss what we've heard. We come back with, what do you think about this idea? That we do it together. A combination of those two things that you just talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very concerned about not all of us not hearing the whole, not having the input of the other commissions. Because
Right.
we wouldn't know, it's losing something and it's several translations. It would take.
Right. And if I didn't mention earlier, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, the approximate amount is $400,000, right?
Right, that's what he said, Mr. Little said last night.
Right.
With $400,000, I feel that there's enough money to spread out, but we don't have to hear anything. They have their own ideas. I have no right to say I don't agree with Parks and Recreation or the arts, because I'm not part of that little world. So if Parks and Recreation comes and says, we would like to have $70,000 of your coin, because it's not our money.
Well, we're the steward.
We're the stewards.
We're the ones that
but
this commission
but-
will make a presentation.
I will just quote what I've been told, and we've all been told. The council can pull that money from us tomorrow. So my feeling is, let's be generous and say, we got 400K, let's divvy it up. And let's let each place go for it. And then we know what the money went for. We don't have to make a decision because it isn't our right to make a decision on their projects. Like they don't have the right to tell us what our decision is.
On the other hand, I disagree because, I can jump in, because the ideas that we're working together on the project.
We won't work
the
together.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing we're talking about, what we're talking about.
But-
Sorry,
but-
let me finish up.
One person back, please.
Oh, sorry.
The ideas that will get enough input, that we would review it, we get back, we work together on a large project with impact rather than a bunch of split up projects. That's what I have been hearing, and that is our goal. So, I think we could go ahead with that goal, and if we run out of time, maybe we would have to say, well, you know, here's some money for yours, here's some money for yours. So I completely disagree with
If-
not working.
If you read the general plan, there's a boatload of things that we can do each commission. And we don't have to do one major project. We don't, let's spread the money so the whole city enjoys it, not, and I'm not gonna pick on Parks and Recreation, but they're so easy. I'm sorry. Okay, and I'm just gonna say it like it is. I don't wanna buy 100 trees. Because you know what? No one sees that. No one gets to enjoy all those 100 trees. But you know, we do a little bit downtown, we do a little bit Parks and Recreation, they do their tree thing. Arts, they do their thing. Other departments get to do their thing. But I'm just saying, even if it goes to, like, we say, okay, we're gonna do this whole thing together. And then Parks and Recreation disagrees what changes we want to make to their project. So now we're going back to the blackboard and redoing it, and it really becomes a real cluster. Rather than saying, Parks and Recreation, we trust you in what you're gonna do with the money that's been allocated. I would hope they would do the same for us. Because, like I said, the council can pull our money in a minute.
Well, I think we serve the community.
Hmm.
You know, we're not serving Nick, they're not serving this company, Park and Rec is serving the community of Seaside. We're serving the community of Seaside, so you'll have to agree on that. So Park and Rec may come up with something, but if it's serving the community, you know, says, yeah, that's great. Art and history says, yeah, that's great. That's the way I look at it. We're serving the residents of Seaside. We're on this commission. We probably should be getting input from the people of Seaside as to what they want and need. And we as commissioners are supposed to be doing that. That's why we-
And one last thing, next year, we might only have 200,000. Doubtful, because of the way Airbnbs are going, very doubtful, but you always look at that the council can say, we're not gonna give you guys $400,000 next year, because you didn't share it with the others. Because it's greedy not to share.
I disagree with that, and I think I deserve a chance to talk now. You know, we are, like he said, stewards of this money, and we are the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, not arts and history, not the environment. We're their Neighborhood Improvement Commission. So the bottom line is we should be making these decisions with input from the other commissions. And if that means us sitting on a subcommittee and helping to make these ideas come to fruition, I think that's what we should be doing.
So therein lies I think the consideration, first of all, before we go to the public, is that how do we do that? Do we develop an ad hoc or subcommittee that will have to meet quite a bit between now and the end of the year, December, in order to come up with something that I guess knocks down those walls and benefits all of us, something we can all agree upon. Or we have that each committee or commission and group do a presentation to us that may be something that just that commission wants to see.
Well, I thought that Mr. Brown, Emerson Brown, had already made a presentation to the NIC about doing the rec, which I had brought up in an email on the 12th. I brought it up on the 12th, and then he came to the meeting after that, and he said the same thing. He wanted to do the wraps of the utilities.
And I thought that was the project that we were talking about working together on with the Art and History Commission, was the utility box wraps.
We gotta decide, we haven't made a decision, we didn't vote on that.
I know we haven't voted on it, but I thought that was one of the things that was for it. And so it's, you know, that's what I'm saying though. He brought it up. I brought it up
Should be on the table.
and it should be on the table and yet it's not even on the
Well,
meeting.
we have it.
It's not on there to discuss or to vote on or anything.
Because we're still there.
Still wanting this.
Right.
Right.
Right, but
So we can have, meetings in between, what's the form name for that? Especially hurry it up, hurry it along. Because once the election's gonna.
Right. So Tiffany, to your point, so we've heard from the Arts Commission what they did, so they did what they basically did what the second, I suppose, the avenue, the second option, the avenue is to have each commission do a presentation to us, so they've done theirs then, in other words.
well,
I
just
didn't-
on that particular thing.
Right, if that's what they wanna do, then that's what they wanna do, and then we have to hear from Parks and Rec and from, OSPA and all that, so that's how they, so if that's what they wanna do, then that's what they wanna do, how does there, but so, when you folks, I mean, so Sean, we're at this one right here, if you wanna go ahead. And basically. we're
So
talking
let me
about
just
is-
make sure I understand your idea. So you're talking about all of them, or even maybe as a hybrid of what Ray's saying. Having all of them come to us with their ideas, and then we vote on it, and then we present to city council, and then how do we make it happen? Do we have then subcommittees to make these ideas happen?
Well, originally, when we first heard about it, I was under the impression that we would have to develop an ad hoc or a subcommittee that would meet, so we can talk about a project that could use all this money that would benefit city and all of our commissions that we work towards. Today, in the conversation I was having with some of you and with Mr. Jaco, is that it doesn't have to happen that way. In fact, that would take more time and more work because we would have to be meeting more. And then our representative, whoever that would be come back to us, whereas if we heard directly from the commissions, other commissions, coming directly to us, there's nothing lost. We all get to hear, we can decide, so there's either way, I mean, it's just, there's benefits to either way, there's drawbacks to either way. And that's I think we have to decide how we wanna go about it, so that we can let the other commissions know.
I think we already started it when Art and History Commission did come last time, and they told us their wants and needs. And now we want to hear from everyone else. And it's a public meeting, so they can come to any meeting they want. And the commissioner as a commission can come in and listen.
So you're saying,
I'm saying that we should indeed have every commission present their ideas.
so that we're gonna scrap this up and figure out
Yes,
that.
please.
Should we vote on that?
I think we need to, so that we're just on the same page.
I agree, since we've already started it. Your point was that we've already started.
Before we vote on it, so they present, and what is the criteria for us to say, no, we don't accept that project?
Do we have to know that?
Well, when
It's gonna be just
That's,
Yeah,
brainstorming.
I mean, this is the first meeting we're having with this
Yeah.
agenda.
yeah, we need to have everything by the end of the year, so this is July. How many commissions are there?
We've got, I think, 3 commissions plus, economic and cost benefits.
So we've got like five, 6.
Yeah.
So, they'll bring us their recommendations or their requests. Do you want it, say by beginning of October? I mean,
By,
for us,
yeah,
Okay, so you're saying have
or
them,
later then.
have them come like August, to the August meeting and present their ideas?
August, September.
August and September,
Yeah.
both of those times, and then we make a decision in September or we make a decision in October?
In October,
So
November,
we'll be hashing it out.
yeah, we'll be hashing it out.
So what about our own ideas that our own commission has? When do we present those? I mean, you know, I had some ideas that I
We can
presented.
still do that, we can still do that, we can still do that, that'll be in addition to. I mean, we have, what is it, 400 and something thousand, I mean, it's not like we're gonna give everybody. It's not all going to, I mean, we have our own recommendations, they have some recommendations, I mean, it all will go into the giant pot.
We'll have to prioritize.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'm cool with that.
Is that okay with everybody? That sounds good? No, why?
So, no, I disagree. I think we should just have a dollar number presented to us from like
Well,
Parks and
yeah.
Recreation. And then that's all we need. I don't need to know what the project is. I am not part of their commission. I'm not
Right,
part of it.
Right,
Well, no, then you're disagreeing with those four.
they come with us with a dollar amount. They will tell, you know, they'll tell us what they need,
Mhm.
we'll put it there. Possible come with a dollar amount. Then we'll come with our recommendations with a dollar amount, but we have a total sum, a bottom line that we are allocated. And so we can't go above this dollar amount at the end of the year. We have this dollar amount. That's what we are working with.
But I thought you guys were saying you wanted to hear the whole plan of what they were gonna do in their
No.
project and all that.
No, we don't need to know. That is not our business.
That's what I was saying.
No, we want, no, it's not our, I mean, they present the plan to us, but it's not our business as far as, we just need to know a dollar amount, you know, that will happen.
But the,
Yeah, I would not vote on that. I want to know what the plan is
Yeah.
before I agree to it.
And it works together to improve.
To the
Yeah.
no,
and if one commission's plan costs $399,000 and we got $1,000.
oh, yes, of course.
But maybe to cut to the chase of just saying, this is how much each could get. And then say what your plan is. Because Parks and Recreation might step up and say, we want to do those 200 trees. And we need $100,000.
Well, we'll tell Parks and Rec.
Well, what I'm saying, just doing a price thing, I think would be courteous to them.
Well, they can come with us with a proposal. And then we can hear everybody else's proposal. And then we, like I said, we have a bottom line. We have our proposals and then, like we did last year, we can give this amount, this amount, this amount, and you know,
Right, because I mean, in the end, we have to propose to the city council.
exactly.
So I don't want to be proposing ideas that city council is definitely gonna shoot down.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's important that we hear the proposals and hear what the plan is, so that we're making an informed decision to present to city council, so that they're getting the benefit of not just that commission, let's say it's the FOSFA. FOSFA comes up with these ideas, and then double, they present to us, we mull it over and say, well, this is a good one, this maybe not, whatever, this doesn't seem to go with the plan, and then we take those and present to the city knows that it's been vetted.
Understood, I'm misunderstood, but I understand. Yeah.
So can we take a vote?
We have to take public comment first.
Yeah. So public comment on what was just Jubilee. But does anybody have any comment?
I think I can make public comment because you're not gonna decide and listen to our presentation tonight. But I'm Bobby Maxwell, I'm the vice chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. And for the past number of years, we have done a work plan. And on our work plan, it says, part of it is work cooperatively with FOSFA and other city commissions, the Homeless Commission, the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, the Seaside Art and History Commission, and the Environmental Commission. To collaborate with everyone to get more stuff done. So that's how we roll. So we're not just Parks and Rec, we want to collaborate. So I just want to leave you with that thought.
Okay, thank you.
Diane Nielsen, I'm also the Parks and Rec Commission.
Have you already gotten representatives from each commission to be on the ad hoc committee? Have you done that?
Other than the Arts Commission, there have been names proposed. Other than those.
Okay, and, you're going on writing here. So you are taking input from any commission, but do you think all commissions are going to? Do you have a feeling for how many commissions are actually going to present?
Well, I mean, for our council, here's who I contacted, and I contacted these commissions through input through council members, and is Parks and Rec, Arts, FOSPA, and
AC?
Sustainable Seaside. So that would include right there, including us 5 different groups.
Also environmental.
Environmental experimental, so there would be 6 different groups.
Not the wellness, whatever that.
Yeah, I mean, not yet, and again, this gets to another part of the problem. I mean, if we how many people would we want on a subcommittee?
Right.
20? You know, I mean,
Subcommittee.
right. We have voted on it.
Right.
It's gonna be one person, well, I would expect it would be only one person per commission, and that's 5 people on a subcommittee.
Yeah, they were,
5 or 6.
that's not what we heard them, which makes more sense, it's just having one to represent them.
Exactly. That was what I envisioned, is just one representative that's voted on by each of the commissions.
So my thought was that each commission can present their ideas at a meeting, the next meeting. And then after that meeting, the representatives could get together and then talk about and work out, you know, oh, well, you want this, well, yeah, we support that, so maybe we'll give up, we'll give up this request. You know, to have it after the presentations.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The only thing is, how often would you guys meet, or would the subcommittee meet, and how, one time?
One time.
Well,
That's not been the case generally when it comes to subcommittees. That's not been the general case.
Well, when the commission, like Parks and Rec Commission, we present at the meeting what we would like to have supported by neighborhood improvement. Each commission does that wants to be supported by you. And then we all know what that is. And then after that, we can meet and hash out what this commission wants. $35,000 for
Please.
Trees.
Everyone wants to.
You know, then we could discuss, well, does everybody agree with that? No, I think this project is more impactful, and we could talk about that. So you only need one meeting to hash that out. I mean,
Not necessarily. I don't see a difference between you representing or Bobby representing Park and Rec coming to one of the meetings and making that presentation, because that ought to be hashed out at your meeting.
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hashed out without a meeting. We come and we present it at your meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's.
And then what you presented at our meeting, then we take it under advisement and consideration at our meeting.
Well, that's how you're not including all the commissions though. Which is what
And then you mean a collaborative effort?
the subcommittee effort, collaborative, like this, you know, well, maybe that's a higher priority after they talk about why they want that happen, and you get more into the meat and the idea of where they're coming from. It's just a thought. And on that, I'm gonna say what we want right now, because I can. So we discussed last night at our meeting, what were the priorities, and they came from our work plan. And their high priorities. Right, trees, which is about $10,000. Highland Otis, either blacktop or volleyball playing sand. So they are playing on, dirt that hurts right now. They don't have. It's not appropriate, for them to play volleyball on. And there has been a lot of work done on that part, and to help finish it off with little things like that. That would probably be, if you were gonna build the whole parameter, you could either blacktop it, which would be wonderful too, or turf, artificial turf for the volleyball court, probably about $30,000. That's a wild guess, but that's kind of what I was coming up with. And to refurbish Wheeler tennis courts, to resurface or restore. Doesn't have to be totally replaced. There's a possibility that we could just put a restoration over the top and paint the pickleball and the tennis court lines. To do that, I would say would be $12,000 to $15,000. Or if we redid the court and put in more amenities, which would be fabulous, it'd be to do all that would probably be $40,000 to $90,000.
Just
Minimum, yeah.
to replace the tennis courts. It's $200,000 to $250,000, about $300,000. Just, I'm not debating, that's just the reality.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be
I'm
interfering,
online.
but I had a conversation with Dan, and it's $200,000 to $300,000.
Okay, so $200,000 to $300,000 we would need. Joking. And then, and then to add, this isn't considered an impactful, although it's a very worthy and needed addition to our parks, is to put all accessible equipment in some of the parks that don't have that for all abilities. And also, one of the other things was we were talking about underground irrigation for some of the parks. So we didn't have to have a water truck come. And they've done that at I think in Cunningham, they put in one underground water tank, and I do, they fill it with the water from the
Buffalo.
the water buffalo. But at least it's there and can be used without having, to call for the water buffalo. This would greatly help with the pollinator gardens, the pocket parks we have that are being stewarded and made more beautiful by anywhere from 20 to 30 or more volunteers every week in the parks.
Through the chair. May I ask that, that your commission through your liaison, find out what the prices, all these prices be, because if we're gonna go the way it seems like we're going here, I mean, that's, you should say that, because we're going to be making the presentation to the city council, then I see is, we're gonna definitely have to know some pretty solid prices.
Oh, for sure.
So if you're able to do that through your liaison.
Yeah.
And then come back, when you do your presentation to us, if that's the way we're going, then it would be great to know, because we're gonna be operating. We want the most pressing thing of the decision of our presentation is gonna be what things cost.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. This is just preview.
Can I add
They
that,
Are you done?
can I add that maybe, you should be, Park and Rec should be working closer to FOSTA, because FOSTA and Park, these are the same things that FOSTA would probably ask for as well. So it seems like those two, that one committee and your commission should work together and try and come up with something. Just a suggestion, because everything you said would be a FOSTA request as well, I would think.
Definitely, yeah.
And Sustainable Seaside too, so all those three committees work together closely.
Mhm.
And I know that, Roloff is, he's going to be the representative for both Foster and Seaside, so I'll let him know. However, we will vote here tonight, and then maybe one of you guys as well.
Any more comments?
Yes, yeah, hi.
Hi.
I have some public comment, and I'm gonna use my time to also ask for a request. I'm gonna stand over here so you guys can all sit.
Thank you.
My name is Leslie Lantero, and I'm assistant engineer. And, I just wanna pass out, the Highland Otis Park Playground Replacement Project that we are trying to get done. So this is a project that started in 2021/2022, sorry. And, you had provided funding to purchase the playground equipment, if you recall? Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. So, recall, we purchased the playground equipment in 2021-22. Received the playground late in 2022 due to the shipping delays. So we worked on the project to, place this in the lower part of Highland Otis Park. As you can see by the picture, the two rounds located here. So the project that we put together includes the installation of a concrete barrier, play surfacing section, playground installation, and ADA entrance to the playground. And the project budget is $60,000 that we have, and the construction bids came in higher than expected. So we're requesting $60,000 to fully fund the project. The construction low bid was from
An additional?
Yes, additional. So the low bid was $99,574, and the high bid was $185,68. So we're just trying to complete the project that you guys helped start. So that's what we're requesting. I can answer any questions if you like. We went out to bid already. We were planning to award this. We don't have the budget. So I thought I'd come here and ask if you guys are willing to support this project. It's shovel ready. As if we get the money, we can go get it installed. So,
Those prices again?
oh, the bids?
Yeah.
So the low bid was $99,574,000. And the high bid was $185,068. And we got 5 bids back. And I don't know if it's the climate, is everyone's working and it's hard to get, everyone's busy, so they're not sharpening their pencils to get this, maybe, I don't know, but that's what.
Yes.
So you only need.
One's double the other.
So this is with the city doing the construction management. So this would be funding construction plus construction contingency. We do have to do some testing, outside testing, that we'll get a consultant geotech on to do. Stop. So that adds to it. And then I think we have some advertising and public notice to do that's included in that price. But yeah, that's what happened. Sorry. Yeah.
So essentially, these were unexpected costs.
unexpected that, I thought that we had already gone out with bids before.
No,
Oh.
we had an estimate based upon what we thought we needed to do to do it. We've got it designed. And we're doing a section, just to get a little technical, we're doing a playground section, so we're gonna have permeable base with the geofabric over it, and then we're having 12 inches of the surface layer, which is engineered wood fiber. So like wood chips, but they're a little bit better, they don't hold mildew and all that stuff. So, and we're gonna have an ADA entrance. So the initial bid, we had Bellinger Foster Simons design it, and their design included the structural section. So maybe that's something that we overlooked when we initially went out.
And so essentially, if you don't get this money, you won't be able to finish the project.
Yes.
How soon do you need?
Or you could go back to the city council, to be fair. I'm sorry, I have to,
Go ahead,
and
please.
the city council could say, no way, Jose. Or they could say, yes, there's, there's always, not always, sometimes. I'm not saying what's right, I'm saying that is an alternative.
How soon do you need this?
Well, we're ready to go now.
Okay.
So as soon as we find the fundings, we're going to go to council to award the construction contract.
So how much have you spent on it already and how much did we put into it?
Okay, from my recollection, you paid for the playground equipment, which was $25,000, I think, and that was in 21-22. And then this year you gave us 30. And then the city council contributed 30. So that's how I'm getting my 60. And yeah.
Should have a low bid, another 40.
Excuse me?
If it's the low bid, it's another 40,000.
Right, but I have to pay for the testing, which we can't do. And I have to pay for the advertising and the public noticing, and so, and the contingencies, what happens if something happens, and then I don't have, have to come back and say, oh, sorry,
When is it, oh, excuse me, when's the next city council that you can go in front of and ask first?
the 20th. Well, I'm gonna take it on the August 3rd if I have the funding. August 3rd meeting.
You guys remember that this public comment is based on the motion that's on the table, which is not a particular project, it's not how we're going to go about.
I understand that, but I apologize, we just opened the bids on July 6th. So I didn't know that we were gonna be over budget, I didn't even know you guys had money. So I just wanted to
Thank you.
give you my proposal, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll start my own separate.
All right.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kirsten Van. I'm the analyst in the engineering department, and I'm here on behalf of Nisha, who is out on medical leave. And she wanted me just to present on the Catino Park Improvement Project that she shared with you, I think maybe at the last meeting. You didn't have enough funds to fund the proposed improvement on this one as well as Fernando, so she just wanted me to bring this back to your attention. What we're asking, the cost would be $80,000 to put in the 3 picnic areas at Catino Park. And those picnic areas are near the Boys and Girls Club and then 2 more near the playground. Those areas currently do not have any picnic benches. And it's not currently part of the project that is going on right now in Catino. It was supposed to be part of part 2 of the construction project for Catino, which the council decided not to move forward with or fund for this year. So unless we get the funding from you or we wouldn't, those areas would just stay as they are or just be mulched. Similar to Leslie's proposal, ours is time sensitive just because we're currently doing construction in that area of the park with our Catino Park Improvement Project. And so if we wanted to add picnic benches, that would have to happen at this point. Otherwise, it would just stay as it is. we would need to try and take it to council either at the July 20th meeting or the August 3rd meeting. Any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner, would you and with both and Leslie both would, I mean, again, you know, we're just deciding on how our process tonight, but would you both be willing to come back and give a presentation in the future to just a little more specific, you know, so we can ask more specifically about things?
Well, they do. Our next meeting wouldn't be until August. Unless we had a special meeting. I mean, they need to bring this back to the city council, the 20th or the 3rd. So unless we have a special meeting between now and. So. I would suggest, I mean, this is probably the best we're gonna do.
But like Dave said, they could present to the city council. If the city council says no, then they can throw their hat in the mix with everybody else and everybody else's projects. And then we can decide on all the projects by hearing everything.
Well, specifically for the casino park benches, I know that was an idea that Misha presented to you as you were looking for ways to, spend the money for last fiscal year. So it's not currently part of this project. So if we don't get the funds through NIC, then we wouldn't necessarily go to council to get it. It just, that would just be waited on for the part 2 of casino project if the council decides to move forward with that in the future years.
This is the only money that's available, this 400,000. Is there public works money or, I'm not understanding how the city works, but.
It's my understanding that when we put together, there was no money in the budget to add more to this, to our projects. So
you're at your capacity as far as.
yeah, unless
that we're allowed to-
they go into the reserve or. So. I mean, I can come back if I'll have to talk to the department head on how they want to proceed if I don't get the money. If we want to wait until we get the money, or wait until the present and make you guys, wait until you guys decide. That could be an option, or go to city council and ask for them. I just don't know which direction she's going to give me. I'll have to talk to the finance director and find out as well.
When did you need to know? I answer.
I think we would try to meet in the August meeting to at the latest, so. And I think also, just to be fair, we didn't know what direction your conversation was going to today, and I think we should just want to make sure, we brought this back to you since you did show interest at your previous meeting, so. Yeah, this wouldn't be its own separate project, we would just tuck it into something we have going on now. Unlike to us, we've got some actual projects.
That's right, we do have this casino park thing that she brought to you. Going on, so that was last month, yeah.
But if that's gonna be part of the 400,000, then we're going to, I mean, that's not something we can, it's not on the agenda, we can't vote on now. All we're discussing right now is the process to go, how we're going to hear about projects. So.
Right.
Can I ask a question? Is there a time limit that you guys have to spend this money? Because
I've been told the city council would like to hear presentation, hear our
recommendation.
recommendation by the end of the calendar year. Okay.
I just have a quick question, I don't know if I'm remembering right, but wasn't this casino park improvement, wasn't there something about being this fiscal year's leftover money that she was talking about? Was there something about that when she presented it?
I think from what she told me that, for your last fiscal year, you had some money left and she presented a few ideas and you went with the Fernando Park, improvement for adding playground there. And it wasn't enough all to do. Then we just wanted to bring this back in case you guys were still interested in.
Yeah, that was my confusion. Thank you. Okay. Anything else?
Can I hear the motion again, just to make sure that
Who brought the motion?
motion?
Was it, didn't
I-
They-
I don't know if I made a motion. I don't remember what we were.
Well, I think in essence, do we create a subcommittee from the, representatives from the different, commissions, or we not do that and have each commission and group just do a presentation to us? I believe that was the motion. Or so, I think the motion was not to have a subcommittee, but rather to have.
Okay, and then we can also present our own ideas as well. So, yes, I motion that we allow in the month of August and September, each commission to present their ideas on how the money, their ideas of their projects for this money. And then our commission will also present, and then we'll make a final decision at the October meeting. And
So-
present it to the city council by the end of the year.
So with the two presentations that just happened just now, they won't get it sitting until the end of September, because we gotta listen to all of them, correct?
I think that's fair.
You have your answer. Sorry.
I'll second that.
And just for, last week, she only provided us with this information, I mean, we have to, take everybody's project into consideration.
It was just info, it wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't really asking, just kind of information she was providing.
So all commission present big presentation in, to NIC.
Thank you. Thank you.
To NIC, their recommendation. And we make our recommendations too in the month of August and September. What else?
Or they do a presentation, I think, was it in August and September, they do a presentation to us and we make the recommendations by December?
No,
Or-
In October,
October.
in October, we have our
Yeah.
meeting and we make a decision. We vet these ideas and make a decision on what we're gonna present to the city council before the end of the year.
Realistically though, December is gonna be a busy month, we don't even meet anything because we do the holiday, whatever.
So we'll have October, November.
We're there in January 24, we should really have a decision.
They want it by the end of the year, so it'll be October, November.
Well, in the past, we've given it to them and we've got in trouble for it, but I mean, they need it by June before the end of the year. They think that,
This is just my opinion.
Mhm.
My opinion is. Well, answer your own question. Last year you made some recommendations. I forget when. And the job wasn't able to be completed. By when, by the end of the fiscal year, then they came back to you. And got some additional park projects or something done that they brought back to the city council because they couldn't get done. With your recommendations, and pretty much I know some of them, but I don't know all of them, because they didn't have time to do it. My means, may or may not agree, but I would suggest, I won't say strongly, the sooner that you get the recommendations, the sooner that it comes before the council, it increases the likelihood, if they are approved, that it can happen. The later you wait, then stuff happens like it did this past year, but that's just my.
December.
Huh? I would say the sooner the better. December's booked and you can get them in the recommendations to us by the December council meeting. Now, if you have to wait till January, February, based on past experience, i.e. last year, I remember certain projects that didn't get done because they didn't have enough time to do them. Then they came back to you, the city came back to you asking for, we can't do this, or can we do this?
Okay.
more time, but that's just my memory, no, it's not right. And they won't encumber them, no,
Okay,
that's a big statement.
I-
It's just my thought.
Get it to the city council by their December city council meeting. Can we do that? Can we agree?
we could shoot for that.
We can shoot, that is our goal. That is our goal.
That'll be our
We'll make that a goal because we won't have a December. We usually don't have a December meeting, but that can be our goal.
special meetings.
Yeah.
Typically, city councils are in better moods around Christmas time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we can,
I have a question, I'm sorry, I was just wondering, so are we gonna present the ideas to city council for all these folks? Are we gonna ask them to come in on those
that is a good question.
and present themselves, because I don't wanna get it wrong.
That's
You
a
know,
good
or,
question.
or maybe Dennis or whoever is presenting, you, Dennis,
Mr. Little does.
Mr. Little does, it. Okay. Okay.
But,
But it's a good.
and we would vet them and give Mr. Little our recommendation.
And they would probably have whatever group is there, they probably have a president. So if there was some questions that arose that, Mr. Little couldn't answer, they would refer to him to.
I think Jay is, I agree with you, I think you're absolutely right. If, I'm making this up, if you donate fossil money for a water faucet, as a bad example, but. And they buy into that, and they come to that meeting, that's gonna show support like you suggested. And that there is a collaborative, is that a good word, effort for the funding, so that, I think we're not, I think the more buy-in. That you get as a whole. They would feel participant because they are part of the overall team, even though you are whatever, you are the empowered group to make the recommendations, whatever they are. Is that fair? That's just my opinion.
With all this in mind, can we add to the motion that we will have whatever meetings it takes to get this in December? Can we add?
Oh, that's Tiffany's motion. We have to-
Can we add to Tiffany's motion to include, include extra meetings if need be, to have it done by December?
Didn't he already second it? Oh, we didn't vote.
No, we haven't.
We didn't vote. So, yeah, I guess we could add that, right?
You can amend your motion.
I would like to amend my motion to include that we add any additional special meetings that we need in order to make our presentation to the city council by the end of the year.
Okay, any discussion from the outside or anything? Any questions? I see you shaking your head.
Well, only thing I'm gonna say in public here is, you had two people stand up and already spent $140,000 of our money, and they're pleading because they can't finish the projects. Doesn't look good going back to the city council. Okay, not at all, because they're gonna go to the city council and say, NIC said they couldn't do it, but they know we got $403,000.
NIC is not saying that, NIC is saying that that wasn't on the table, that's not on the agenda.
But-
We voted on a process, not on denying their
Okay, then-
process.
I just finished, because what they're doing is they're asking us first.
Mhm.
And when they go to the city council, they're gonna say, well, they said no to give us the money.
We did not say no, we're following a process.
We're following a process, exactly. So, but what if you have the other ones come and give their presentations and they start adding up in the 80s and 90s? I just don't know how you're gonna say no to all of them. Because you're saying we have our own, but can we vote first?
Yeah, let's vote. Let's vote and then we can,
But that's all I had to say about it.
thank you. I understand it. All those in favor of Tiffany's motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
They,
Okay, ayes have it. Now, Ray?
well, the thing I'm saying is, there's no criteria set on the price of the
Right.
cost.
Right, there,
It should we at least have that, so they know when they come to the coffer, or whatever you wanna call this. The plea, that they're not asking for $100,000. Because you can't say yes to someone else because it's 100,000, but you didn't give it to Highland Parks project.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's realistic for, say, example, Parks and Rec would get $100,000 when there's like, say, FOSPA needs $50,000 and we have projects that say we have been talking about, for example, I don't know, you know, we have a projects that are like $48,000 and so has another. I mean, it's inconceivable. We give like one group like $150,000 off the bat. I mean, we have to really sit there and who, you know, what is more needed and what is more cost effective. I mean, these are, we have to, it's money's finite.
Yeah.
And we have to, and we can't, we have all these agencies around the city, including our own, that have these projects and we want to share and we don't want to seem, we don't want to have like one agency get the most and there's other agencies that are needy as well and they have projects that want to, you know, that want their needs met as well. So we have to, we take all of this into advisement. It's like last year, we didn't give, we gave each people, you know, projects what we felt that they, for their projects, we gave them money, but I don't think anybody was shortchanged. I don't think anybody felt shortchanged, but because the money is only goes around so much, you know, it's so. What, you know what I mean?
If I may?
Yeah.
I mean, the vetting process could produce, I mean, this is all part of the vetting process and theoretically, there might be some project that is proposed to us that we say no money to because it doesn't go along with the strategic plan or it's amoral or something.
It's not in our purview.
You're right. We say no, nothing. So we just, I mean, that's part of the vetting process.
Right.
So.
Also, I think, well, as Shandra was saying, you know, someone, Park and Rec asked for 80, and you say, well, you can only give 40. And if the council really likes the idea and they see that it costs 80 and we can only give 40, the council's going to go find the money because they think it's a great idea. I mean, we're not the sayers.
Yeah, we're
So
not
we
the-
go in there, you know, whatever they like to do, that's what they're gonna do.
They're seeing free money. I mean,
It's their
I'm
money, it's
using,
their money. They're just being generous for us, for allowing us to do this.
Right.
It's their money, they can do anything they want with it, so if they think Boston should get 250, get Kitchuma Park or whatever park done, or
Figure it out.
they're gonna do it that way. It doesn't really matter what, you can say 30 for you, and 60 for you, and 20 for you, and council can be nice and all.
I respect the conditions.
yeah.
Right.
Only thing I'm looking at is where my background, working in corporate for 27 years, everybody came with their budgets. And when you were told ahead of time, don't be asking for 200, but 100, you might get it. Okay, but we're not telling them anything. See, they've already walked in with 60 and 80. And I hate to say, they were expecting us to say yes to it, kind of, because their projects are not going to finish. Okay, and it's the first time that we have $400,000. And I'm just trying to make us look like heroes in front of the council saying, you know what, we gave Highland Park their 60K. We didn't give the 80 on the other one, okay? But if you're being stingy around everybody and give 20 here and 30 here, maybe none of the projects get done. That's all.
We're just giving everybody a fair chance
Yeah,
to present
exactly.
their ideas.
Yeah, I
And
can
not being stingy.
Yeah, I
Okay.
And
can.
I really resent you saying that.
But you can present it all you want.
Well, because it's not fair. It doesn't represent me at all. I'm not being stingy.
Okay,
I'm trying to be fair.
okay, I don't think anybody actually thinks they're walking in and presenting their ideas, they'll walk away with $100,000 right off the bat. And there's 5 other commissions that want money. I honestly think that they're gonna walk away with $100,000. And there's only $400,000 to go around. And we still haven't made our own ideas. So I mean, if they do, that's arrogance on their part.
And if I may, their staff members, they go to council meetings, they've been through this. I can almost guarantee that they know we couldn't vote on their projects tonight. That was not, it's not an agenda.
Yeah.
So they were just giving us information under public comment, or not, comment.
Okay, so serious.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's not on the agenda, it's not agenda, we cannot take a vote on it. Okay, that's that. Next item. What's with commissioners?
Oh, we have to go back to, go back to A, okay. Well, what we switched was A. Yeah, we switched. It was A, which became C. Oh, okay, not bad. That's okay.
Receive a presentation and feedback to staff regarding the land use and community design element of the revised public draft and general plan. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You guys are a lively bunch.
Thank you for waiting.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. I had the Arts Commission just before you guys, so I couldn't quite make it at 6. But
You're here now.
so appreciate you guys having me. Are we so am I good to go?
Yes.
Great.
It's yours.
So my name's Andy Meyer. I'm the Economic Development and Community Planning Manager with the City of Seaside. And what I wanted to talk to you today about is the general plan update. And so next slide. Don't go to any way control from here. Yes. So what is general plan? General plans are generally they're a strategic vision for the city. They're done about every 20 years. They are required by state law. The last general plan we did was done in 2004. So it's been just about 20 years since the last one was done. This one is called Seaside 2040. The idea being that this is supposed to define the vision until 2040. This was begun in 2015 and it really started moving in 2016. Most of the work was done 2016 through 2018 to 2019. And then before it was adopted, COVID hit and everything got put on pause. About a year ago now, this was picked back up. We went through it to reflect kind of the new reality that, you know, after the pandemic we're living with. There were a lot of laws that were put into effect during that time period. So we had to update several items also for other changes, such as the, you know, FORA being dissolved and whatnot. We have now released it for what is hopefully the final public review. It went through multiple public reviews, planning commission, city council hearings previously. And this is substantially the same vision that we had before. You'll hear me talk about elements. Elements are chapters. It's just the state calls them elements, so we do too. And one of the things I think is important is that it establishes development patterns for the rest of the city. There are other items that are included as part of this effort that are not in front of you today. There's a housing element being done, which really focuses on how to provide housing more so than looking at where and how much housing will be provided. We're also going to update the zoning code, and there's an environmental impact report that's being prepared. So I kind of covered a lot of this already, but what is a general plan? Sets the direction it's required. It is designed to build on what we've already been doing and put in writing what we have been doing and what we want to be doing. There are certain elements that are required by the state. There's a land use, circulation, housing, conservation, open space, noise, safety, and environmental justice. Circulation, we call it mobility in our general plan. That's basically traffic. Environmental justice, has been combined with also community health and sustainability to create our healthy and sustainable communities element. Other areas that are in here that are not required are economic development, infrastructure, public facilities, and a parks and recreation element. So the overall process that we're working on, we've already done the first four at the top, which are existing conditions, going through a public visioning process, looking at alternatives, developing policies, and then drafting a general plan. The next step is to finalize the plan updates. That's the phase we're in right now. The environmental review document, that's the environmental impact report or EIR, that should be getting released for public review in the next month or two. And then hopefully adopt a plan towards the end of 2023, first quarter of 2024, somewhere in that timeline. This is a list of the elements. I kind of touched on this already, but note the implementation chapter because I'll come back to touch on that. This is an example of how all the elements are organized. So every element has dialogue. In some cases, it has tables and data, maps that essentially define what the situation is at the moment. It then goes into a policy framework structure. So we will identify goals. Those goals will then have policies that are essentially kind of a high level, like, you know, how does one accomplish those goals? And then it will have implementation actions, which are the specific actions that we take to accomplish the policies, which then feed those goals. So I know you can't read it here, but good, you guys do have the packet in front of you. If you look towards the end of your packet, there's a lot of goals in land use. So I flipped to LUD-8, page 67, a safe urban environment oriented scale pedestrian by 6 levels. You can see.
We don't have that. We didn't go that far. We're up to 56. Oh, you mean 57?
Oh, you know, down in the corner.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't start off.
I
Yeah,
see.
there you go. And I just picked one at random. You know, so maybe I'll let me pick one that's actually more pertinent. Because one of the challenges here is that what I've been doing is I've been taking the elements that are pertinent to each individual commission. So like I just came from arts and history, and we looked at policies related to arts and cultural resources. And unfortunately, with you guys, it's kind of scattered throughout the whole. But let's go to LUD-11, which is maintain and enhance existing residential neighborhoods, which I think is kind of geared towards what, and you can see we got a whole section here starting on page 70, existing seaside neighborhood goals and policies. Land use is a very broad element, so it will cover a lot of ground. So as you can see, it's got a goal. We want to maintain the neighborhoods, and then we've got policies. And then I'm going to pass this around because this was not included. If you want to just take one and pass it around, I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to keep it.
So we're on the goal, which is maintain and enhance existing residential neighborhoods.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you can see, look at the screen also, there's goals, and all these goals have policies. And then what's being passed around is the implementation chapter. Essentially has the action items that are designed to implement the goals and the policies. And those break it down further by establishing what are how high of a priority is this? Is this a short, long time frame? The time frames really refer to how hard is it and how long will it take to get done. Some things can be done very quickly and some things take a little while. And then it also defines responsible parties. As to, you know, which city departments or other organizations are responsible for implementing these sorts of things. So why I'm here today is I'm not looking for any action from the commission. What I'm looking for is, like I said, we are currently in our public review period. So we're accepting comments from the public on these items. And so what I'm looking for is feedback, input from the commissioners Again, not looking for a vote or a formal position by the commission. I've been doing this rather informally. What I'm going to do, and also an opportunity to ask questions and get clarification on anything that you might see in there. What I'm going to do with the feedback is I'm going to write it down. I'm going to take those comments and we're going to compare them to the rest of the comments that we get from everybody else. And based on that, if we have to make any final edits to the general plan, we'll do so again, based on other feedback, consistency with, other provisions in the general plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and unfortunately, you guys don't have a name tag, you
have data, we don't have to little.
Yeah. You feel like, so I guess if you could give me your last name, if you have any feedback or comments, unless, if I see the entire group nodding their head, then, but, just because you're the only person who thinks something doesn't mean I'm not going to write it down. But if everyone's nodding their head, I'll make a note that it's the whole commission.
When is the due date that you had to have, what is the due date of accepting these comments?
So we released this on May 22nd, and we're accepting comments publicly until July 21st.
Oh, cool. Today's the 11th.
Day of the 11th.
Oh, my goodness.
You guys had a big gap in your meetings because your last one was June 6th.
Yeah, I remember the holidays.
And then there was the holiday, so that pushed another week in. Yeah. And here's what I'll say though also is that because I'm not trying to get a formal action from the commission, any of you can just email comments if you'd like to. My email is really easy. My name should be on the agenda. It's standard city email, amyrick@ci.treeside.ca.us. So
Say it again.
amyrick,
A.
Amy Rick, AMYRICK, at ci.seaside.ca.us, which every city employee has that same format. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's comments on these things, on this plan, right? Or just any comments? On the vision of the city?
I would,
Or
if
this
you
part, this part.
let me put it this way. I would say that I don't want to spend too much time getting into the circulation element because that's not, what this commission looks at necessarily. But if you had like a couple, a quick comment or two on other parts of the general plan, I would accept those. As far as the land use element, feel free to provide comments and ask questions.
Oh, okay. So it's just our chapter 11.
Preferably,
Okay.
yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna I don't want to be here in 9 talking about, noise.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I have just a personal input. So, I see the middle, improvement on, middle income housing. And,
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at,
The implementation program.
yeah, and this,
And which line? So LUD?
sorry, it's, LUG 15.
Okay.
Gonna have that, and my big concern is the lower income housing, especially children in those schools that go out on house. It's just a personal, separate from the commission, but that I've given input for, and I keep bringing it up wherever I can. The concern for children who are unhoused in the area. Not that I don't agree with the middle, that middle housing, but.
I will say that our housing element does get into a lot of depth for line household and.
But I just keep bringing it up wherever I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to second, looking at neighborhood conservation, the first item there, update residential, zoning standards, to ensure new development complements existing neighborhoods through, first of all, we do need the whole state. needs in housing. But, more importantly, the complements what already exists here.
And what is your last name?
My last name's Alan.
My last name is Eva, L-E, capital E-O-E-U-S, O-E-U-S. All vowels. LD two, about the zoning and the residential parking program. I am a big proponent of parking, somewhat parking permit. Because we have so many people parking on LaSalle and San Pablo. And it's for people who live on one-way streets, it's a danger to come out of the one-way streets and you can't see around corners on the streets. Yeah. What else? Big thumbs up on LED5 for like our Broadway improvements. And anything that will spur development. Yeah, there can be buildings and that empty lot that's not in a beautiful lot that could be so things. Whether it's park or.
Which block?
The
The one by the model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and there are a couple up there, I don't know what city owned, but.
The upper Broadway or lower?
No, lower, there's well, no, one's a parking lot now, I think that, I was thinking about upper Broadway. They're kind of, cities. And I don't know where it is in here, but, like the arts is working on. Trying to, have a permanent housing spot, did that come up? Did any kind of performance arts place come up in the general plan?
There are provisions for artists, group work units, allowing those to occur in here. So that sort of thing would then be implemented through the zoning ordinance update.
Right.
This is a general, of looking at our, charges to, development.
What's your last name?
Reardon. Especially when they're trying to do updates to your house. If you compare it to other cities like Marina or Delray Oaks, and probably in some sections of improvements to your home, we're twice as much as other cities.
In terms of our fees,
Our fees, and sometimes quadruple compared to Monterey. One example is installing windows, new windows in your house.
Yeah.
It is
$250, just did it.
for your permit,
Yeah, yes, or 10 windows. Yeah, for 10 windows.
but go to other cities and come close to that. But anyway, just some things that and then some of the rules that we have, like you can't build a patio within 15 feet of your property line of your back door. That's another one that people have been caught on. Not caught. They do the drawings, do everything, and then you bring it in here and they charge you $800, whatever it is, and then they deny it because it's a 15-foot criteria.
That seems pretty lousy, bad business,
It is.
charging $800 and then denying it,
I'm surprised. Well,
bad business.
the fifth, you're talking about a 15-foot rear yard setback.
Yeah, the setback.
So, but that's such an easy catch.
a lot of contractors, if you speak with them, right, have no clue.
And the drafter should know, the architect should know.
If you do the drawing yourself, but you're doing a patio,
Well,
you just
they
put.
won't accept the drawing yourself.
Yeah.
They won't have your money back, huh?
It will not give you money. I'll just use the example, I drew mine, I have a contractor stand right, he drew it. I submitted it, $300 later. What was really sad was one of the city inspectors was out there and saw us doing it. And knew what I was doing and walked away and never started, that's ain't gonna pass because we want the dollars. And you ask other contractors, I have, they go through the same thing. It's not a proactive part of the world with this, but they try. I know we have to generate money in this city. I know we do because of how small we are. We have the same bills.
Well, that's certainly not the intent of the rules, though. I mean,
A lot of it's
okay, yeah, and it's a fair point that, a lot of contractors, building codes are consistent across most jurisdictions. They're very close, at least, and zoning codes vary dramatically because building codes relate to how something is constructed. And so a contractor will know that if you build this patio cover in a certain way, then it will pass the building code requirements. But of course, if they don't know the zoning code, they'll basically say, well, you can't put it, the city will say, you can't put it there.
Yeah.
If you go over there.
Yeah.
But okay. All right, I didn't know.
So I like lead number 11. It only is medium, but I think the resident handbook it's a great idea.
I'm sorry, what's your last name?
Meyer?
Meyer. And LUD 11?
Yes, and I also like the lead 14, the land use monitoring.
Yeah. I could explain that a little bit more, because the implication or the putting that into putting that, feet on the ground, I'm trying to imagine how this would work.
What does it entail?
What does it entail, right?
How is it gonna be put into action? Because you could say, monitoring should include metrics such as number of new housing units, affordable housing, commercial square footage in natural and developed areas on the former border of lands, among others. I mean, there's all this land on border, there's, the unexploded ordinance and everything. I mean, are we gonna use that? What are we gonna develop that? Is Florida going to be? That's been deeded to Seaside. What are we gonna do with it? Are we gonna do anything to it? Is Seaside going to get a grocery store, a major chain? I mean, what are we doing with that? I mean, so what does that mean?
So there's two different things there, and I'll cover each of them.
Okay.
The first one, the land use monitoring, to me, that one's really about data and tracking things as it occurs. So when I first started, the city had allocated 5 acre-feet of water for ADUs. And they had put a pause on the applications because they were afraid they were running out of water, but no one really knew how much water we had allocated. And we didn't have everything in a system sorted in such a manner that we could just say, okay, computer generated a report of all the ADUs. We had to go through all the applications manually, and there were some ways to figure it out, but we're still looking at the paper applications and then putting it into a spreadsheet and then using that to figure out how much water we'd actually allocated to the 5 acre-feet. When I look at this, what I am thinking is we need to input that data when we do the original permits, so that when we try to track things, we don't have to go back through everything again. We can just look it up. And there's always going to be those random questions that come up that you didn't think to track. But we should be able to track number of residential units, et cetera. That should be a relatively straightforward thing. Moving over to Seaside East, which is the area to the east of General Jim Moore. So that area currently is mostly zoned for low density residential, with parts of it being zoned for open space. Under state law, we cannot change the zoning in such a manner that it would reduce the number of residential units allowable. However, I also don't believe that basically taking that whole area and making it into low-density residential, single-family homes is consistent with the current vision of that. It might be, it might not be. So what the general plan here is doing is we are defining that as an area that would need a specific plan, which it would need anyways. And that specific plan is going to be a process that will occur later. And I think what we're looking at doing is incorporating some mixed use and some commercial in addition to having homes of varying densities in that space. We need to have a community-wide discussion on what's going to happen over there. And we haven't had that in many years. So, and then we need to take that and put it into a specific plan to guide the development going forward in that area. From what I can gather, I do believe that whatever we put there is going to be contentious. And I think there's a good chance that the city will get legal challenges on whatever is put over there. And so my concern with trying to have that conversation today is that the rest of the general plan would have to wait until we had that done. And so that is why with Seaside East, we have deferred that conversation for now. We are making assumptions regarding the development for purposes of developing the environmental impact report. So the environmental impact report assumes that there will be development. And like I said, we cannot, by state law, we cannot change the zoning to reduce the number of residential units, which are, it's already zoned for low density. There's already allowed to be residential there. We can't reduce that number. So we're assuming a level of residential development of at least that level, plus we're assuming some commercial, mixed use, et cetera, in there. Now, maybe the development will end up being less than that, but if we analyze it based on that level, if we come in lower, ultimately, we can't reduce the number of residential units, but if we come in lower, then we don't have to go back and do a whole other environmental analysis for that area. We're already going to be looking at in the environmental impact report, you know, the munitions removal and hazardous materials and all that other stuff that goes along with it. And there'll be mitigation measures for any significant unavoidable impacts or even impacts that can be mitigated to a point of insignificance. So that's a long answer to that question, but that is how we're treating Seaside East.
And do you know what the total number of acres is that to be developed or? Of Seaside East?
Well, I can tell you this, that of the total corridor, I remember from, you know, my time on the city council, that 28% of the total corridor was to be, belong to, you know, for development, it's one purpose, another, Marina, Seaside, Delray Oaks, and parts of Monterey. The rest of the 72% was in national monument.
Okay,
So whatever.
but some of that is for Fort Track too, though, right?
Yeah, obviously you just have an aerial photo. If you look at, and I don't know if you don't have a color version, I don't think, but if you look at page 70, here, there's a map. There's actually lots of maps, but you can see this Seaside East is basically, oh, you know what? Let me find the land use designation map. Because you don't have color, unfortunately, but maybe the shading will be good enough to call it out very clearly. Okay, if you look at page 48, you'll see, hopefully, this big green blob is the monument, and then this kind of reddish color, that's the Seaside East area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So yeah, a big chunk of what's east of General Jim Moore is the national monument. And Fort Tag runs through somewhere in here.
Okay. So is the border monument part of Seaside? That's part of Seaside?
That part is, yeah.
Okay.
It's not all the monument, but part of the monument is in Seaside.
Okay.
So you want to get the general plan passed first, and then everything else.
And then we'll do Seaside East later, yeah. This has been going on since 2016, 2015, right? We need to put this to bed.
Okay.
I also like, LUD 12 with the childcare. I think that's very important to working families, and that's
Especially around here, yeah.
right. Seaside is a community of working families, I think, so this is imperative.
And 15. Middle housing, middle.
Yeah, that's the Jones.
That's also part of the required housing on.
This isn't on here, but because Seaside is becoming more diverse and we have a lot of English language learners, is there anything on here to help with the transition to English language learning and helping the families transition to
You mean like classes or
Yeah.
translation?
classes, translation, budgeting, how to buy a home, that sort of thing? Is there anything in here, how to save for a home, because it's hard to save, and they're working 2 and 3 jobs, and, you know.
13 kind of speaks to that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that kind of thing, in theory, should be under healthy, sustainable community element.
I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily apply to one demographic, it can- but, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
those kind of quality of life
Mhm.
assistance programs are
Right.
mostly under the chapter 9, the healthy, sustainable community element. You guys don't have that in your packet.
mm,
But it's. Let's see, supporting access to affordable quality healthcare, encourage healthy lifestyle, people of all ages, abilities, income levels, cultural backgrounds, healthy affordable food available to our residents. Neighborhoods that enhance safety and welfare of all residents, employers, and
Oh,
tourists.
okay.
Community that actively participates and engages in the decision-making process. High quality educational and expanded workforce opportunities for all Seaside residents. Let's see, do we have anything about? Adult education, university library access, county partnership, regional education coordination, regional learning, college pathways within students. And then we kind of get into greenhouse gas emission, water conservation, job training and placement enrichment programs. I don't see anything, again, on a good scan, I don't see anything that relates directly to translation services, so I'll just make a note of that.
And on the same note, maybe supporting the library program that, it's a huge support system there for, well, for tutoring,
Yeah.
one-on-one tutoring.
yeah,
I have a student, and there are a bunch of us, 3 of us or something, with one-on-one tutoring, which includes social, helping them. And that's, the city can support that. They do, but, to
Yeah.
expand it.
Yeah, that I know we've got partnerships
there
with
somewhere.
school districts and, universities and whatnot. That I know we have in there.
Quite a document.
Yeah, and the housing element is about this long over again. And this doesn't include the appendices either,
oh, yeah.
and the EIR is about that.
Anything else? Anything else? Any other question?
Well, yeah, I have one, but the thing is kind of, it's not really, the way it's going towards it, because this is multiple development, but, is there still only one school resource officer for all of Seaside schools, like there has been for so many years, or there? And even then, it was, I think, I think that the city was paying for most of that, obviously,
Mhm.
so they're,
I do not know the answer to that.
That would be
for a long
interesting.
time, it was only one, and it was a huge job.
Yeah, NPSD, yeah, city pays for my, when I was on the city pays for the majority of the salary, and they would provide the officer too, and, that would be something that the city could talk about with NPSD.
Yeah, it's a huge job.
Yeah.
And, it's more good, get more than one, that's all right.
Good question. Does the city have a person that, a designated person that looks for grants from the state or from the federal government? You know, from free money from, do we have?
Quite a
something
few
that we-
people, so we don't have one person that just does grants, but all of the different departments have various individuals that pursue grants. It is, like engineering will go after grants for public works projects, finance goes after other grants for other things. It varies by department.
Okay.
Does it work better that way,
Oh,
than having a particular?
Yeah, because they know their operation better. Sometimes I don't know the extent that the city utilizes third-party grant writers. Some cities will do that. I just don't know enough about the specifics of what we do here.
I wonder how many grants we do get. I mean, if that's a very robust program in our city, getting these grants. It's free money.
Yeah,
We get a fair amount. They should be going on the council agenda, so I see them coming through on a fairly regular basis.
So it's a very competitive process. We've gone after a lot of different grants. Just recently we went after over $1 million grant for the Laguna Grande, and we were passed up on. We've gone after a grant for a generator for the fire department, and we were passed up on that one, but then it came back out again and we went for it and we got the grant for the Oldemeyer Center. So they're able to replace that. So it just depends. Like I said, they're very competitive. There's a lot of people vying for money that,
Sure,
yeah.
I get it.
And like I say, being that we're a small city, a lot of the larger cities have bigger departments, where they're able to have people who can work on that and understand it. It's hard to have one person who doesn't really know. I don't really know a lot about police departments, so I can't really, what am I going for? What are we doing? And, recreation, not, well, public works, okay, I have a little more, knowledge in that. So it's kind of up to the departments, and we do the best we can with the staffing level we have.
Right, and then it's probably an ad hoc job, writing a grant is probably additional to what their normal duties are.
Yeah.
And so they're probably not great at it, there might be somebody great at it, really talented, but it's probably, not it's not expected and.
Yeah.
So, I just wondered about that.
Yeah, we do the best we have, so.
We're short on staff.
Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
Any more suggestions by the? Okay, first.
Yeah, if you guys think of anything, just feel free to email me and we will put them on the list.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, have we done Alpha? So now are we on number 6?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay. Reports from commissioners. Anybody?
I've got just a couple of things. First of all, so I mean, back to our how we're going to get the input, the presentations out. I'll go back to the commissions and let them know that, because I already spoke with them, I'll take that on and let them know that we're going to be looking to have it present to us in August and September. Is that right? Okay, so I'll go ahead and contact the chairs of those commissions. I'll do that. And secondly, in a couple of days on Thursday, the city manager, myself, and the CEO of the Red Cross and the Central Coast chapter of the Red Cross, we're gonna have a meeting because the Red Cross wants to have a new office in Seaside. The Carmel the Carmel building it doesn't serve the purpose anymore. It's just an old house and it used to be the Carmel chapter, but
Right.
headquarters in Washington DC. They are now conglomerating a lot of the chapters and making larger. So now there's a Central Coast chapter, which includes Santa Cruz County, San Benito, and Monterey County. There's an office in Santa Cruz, and but the CEO and the board of the Red Cross really want to have one in the Seaside. They want to have one on the peninsula, and they really want to have it in the Seaside. So
Where are they looking? Do they?
that's what we're gonna talk about. See what we're gonna tell them what the Red Cross needs and see if there's anything available. And then hopefully.
I mean, yeah, that would be wonderful because they had that beautiful building on Fort and now it's gone. And then the one in Cornell was nice, but now
Yeah.
it's too small and so, yeah, and that would be wonderful
Right.
for our
So
city.
it's just great location for the peninsula.
Yeah, we're central,
Right.
got the best, one of the
Right.
best we've gotten.
You know, I don't know if you know, but and I don't know if it's available, but the PX is closing. They're, next to the Habitat. It's closing. They won't have a PX anymore. I don't know what they're doing with that building.
It's military stuff.
I don't know. I haven't heard in our meetings or in our, the chief of staff hasn't made any comments about it, although he didn't say it was closing either, so.
It's closing, but it's still APs.
Right, I mean, does APs own that building, or
Yeah.
does the Army own it?
AP,
Cause that's Army property.
right,
The Army owns that.
Army,
Because the city of Seaside, we have a contract through the city of Monterey, they maintain the Presidio, we maintain the former Fort Ord. And the PX is one of our facilities that we maintain for the Army under that contract.
We'd have to lease it. City would have to lease it if they did engage use and everything.
a 99-year lease or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There have been talks. The city has had this new contract since 1998. And there have been talks over the years of converting it into classrooms. So I don't know if that's something that they're thinking of doing. But I haven't heard anything. I just heard that it's closing in August.
They also have the building that used to have the laundromat, and they've ripped out all the machines, and it doesn't appear like they're replacing it. It said it was gonna reopen in September of last year, but it never did.
No, it's real.
Oh, it has reopened?
They had to redo all the plumbing.
Oh, okay. I hadn't been by there since.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, the real.
a big project.
Used it for laundry.
Oh, that. Okay.
So
that's-
what this does, I mean, initially helps Seaside because Seaside, being the biggest city on the peninsula, population wise, has the most disasters, even if many disasters, house fires, you don't hear about them, electrical fires. But that doesn't mean that the fire department doesn't say that it can't be used. Now the family's displaced. What the Red Cross does, it's a disaster action team. We give them what's called it's like a debit card.
Right.
And they can get a hotel for a couple of days and get food. And so what happens before within Carmel, then someone, has to go over the hill, get that
On
car,
the street.
yeah, and get back over to Seaside. This takes time. And this way we'll be right here in Seaside. We can serve the citizens where the most.
It's central.
Right, central, right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna put a bug in his ear and hopefully, you can keep silent.
Well, I appreciate you taking the lead on the committees. That's really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so what you said was you were gonna go to them and tell them to come to the August and September to
Right,
present.
right.
Got
That's
it.
basically, so there's no more ad hoc committee.
And you're gonna reach out to all the, like the homeless one and whatever else is out there.
Yeah, I'll get that. I haven't yet with the homeless, but I'll get that contact information and have them, let them know what's going on.
I just want to give a shout out to, he's not here, David Jago, he paid for gardening services or cleanup at our little corner, seaside corner there. You know,
Right up here,
is it
right up here, yeah, right up
yeah,
here.
seaside time, because all the poppies died. It was looking really pretty for a while, but everything's, spring is over, so now it's fine, but he paid for a garden.
So,
Spiritual?
yeah, I was wondering, why doesn't that get done by the city? Why does he have to pay for that out of pocket? I mean, that's wonderful, kudos to him.
Can't take care of all the cars, it's just too much. That's why I'm gonna try and put it on Boston's agenda, but they have so many parks, I don't know.
There's no irrigation. at
No
that
area,
location.
yeah.
So trying to,
It's been forever to get lights.
for trying to get out there to irrigate it and, you know, with the flowers. We need more like drought tolerant, those things.
They still need cleanup once in a while, and they did clean it. The city did clean a couple of times.
Yes.
You know, clean it up.
We did too. You did too.
Yeah.
Volunteer, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
But we
But it
got it
needs
on
it more than
Boston's agenda, park cleanups and, if they'll take it on. Well, I have a quick thing, this, I don't know if any of you know about it, but there's a Seaside Artists Tour every year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it was, you know, we didn't have it for a couple of years. I did it for the first time last year, and we set the date, it's September 16th and 17th. And we'll have, it's just a great thing to be a part of, and we'd really like to play it up this year. It's a wonderful event. We have about 18 artists all over the city. When is it? September 16th, 17th.
And what are the hours generally, 10 to
It's
5 or something?
something like that. It's 10 to 4 probably on Sunday. We do Saturday, and this is last year's brochure, but we have a date on it. We don't quite have it.
And I think that if I recall from last year, they sell some of their products too,
We
right?
all sell.
We all sell.
Betcha. And it's, and there's wine and cheese and, you know, tons of fun.
Yeah, I had one of those. I took one of them last year. I intended to go, but I didn't get a chance.
Well, and I'm just telling you guys now, but should be something that we consider, not just because I'm. And thank you very much. And this is not a report, but this is something I'm trying to work on, and he brought it up. I'm trying to get us name tags and cards. I was at the city council meeting, and I was talking to some people, and I had to introduce myself, and I did not have anything to hand to people. I'm like, hi, I'm Shonda.
Yeah.
So I find it very disconcerting.
Well, Jackie was working on that for me and
Yeah,
for,
I have.
Tiffany. And
It's been a while.
I've been asking for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the story is.
You know what, we should.
You can't use Seaside symbol without their permission.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, this is what I'm gonna work on it starting tomorrow. I've got a list of things I gotta do tomorrow, so if I can't get it through Jackie, I'm gonna go work my magic around people. Cause I think it's really kind of sad that we are a commission and we're commissioners representing the city, and we don't have anything for us to hand to people that prove that we do represent them and we're working on their behalf. Besides our word.
Every commission used to have business cards.
Yeah,
About 2 years ago, they started it, 3 years ago.
yeah.
Which reminds me, I wanted to ask about that. So I belong to the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Mhm.
And me and one of the other members, we set it up with Lands End where we can get our logo, our brand on a shirt. You know, Lands End has a ton of merchandise, and we set it up where we have our own storefront. So why couldn't we get like come up with a rendering of like a seahorse or something? Get shirts that have our neighborhood improvement commission, Seaside, and then our name on there, and then we can wear our
Sharks, I think, one of the, we should have a jacket, I think someone,
Yeah, that's their best and jackets.
yeah, another commission has their jackets. I'm like, how did you guys get jackets? Well, you can have mine. I'm like, so I don't understand. We're supposed to represent at little place things that they have out here.
and there's nothing to identify who we are and what we represent, so.
Right.
We can't on our own get something like that, it has to go through the city, so I'm going to try and work, do some.
But it would be nice because we could wear them on the days that we need, and people in the community, when we're out and about at work or at the grocery store, would see and ask, oh, what is that, And then we could tell them, hey, we're on the neighborhood improvement, do you have any ideas, or here's my, email, or whatever, I just feel like, I'm on this committee and unless I'm, talking to my neighbors, nobody really knows. And it's not like I want everybody to know, hey, look at me, I'm on the neighborhood. I would like to know because I would like to represent.
And who's,
My
and
neighborhood.
does somebody has any suggestions, like, listen, there's like a broken sidewalk.
Right. Or something.
You were at this last meeting
Mm.
and I was too, and it was, we got a good showing, you and I got up there and did the houses and, it gave out the plaques. But it was interesting after the meeting that people talked to us. I mean, it was nice. And so just to suggest maybe we can volunteer one of us to go to a meeting at least once a month to spout
Yeah.
That's a
what we
good idea.
said. And, at our next meeting, one of us to say, I'll go to one of the meetings and talk about NIC.
And we should have business cards.
We should have this card, but also, like I said, the nice shirt, and people can see who we
What
are.
about the house of the month? I mean, that's when we do that. Yeah, Marty did that. I don't know if they're doing that.
Well, whenever we do, whenever we have a project like the smoke alarm, I did after the fact, after it recorded and told them how many houses were serviced and all that.
Yeah, but she should have been invited to present the
Yeah.
house of the month.
Oh.
Even they're giving, someone told me they didn't get one. They used to get $50.
They still do.
They still do.
Yeah.
And the plaque.
Media card. Yeah, they get.
Well, whatever they want. City
Yeah.
council. They call them and they say, what?
Yes.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, they
One
did it
person
last
did.
week.
The other person didn't get it in December. He told me he didn't get one.
We didn't have this
Did you
room.
check the back of his?
Back-
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, that's where they put it. It's a surprise.
So he didn't get, he didn't get asked to the.
Ah,
Well,
so if you have August, then who has September? Who has August? Do you have August?
That's a good question. I guess I do. Because I have not done it in a while.
Diane, thank you. Thank you, Diane.
We were talking about that earlier. We couldn't remember, because I know I had January and February. And then Ray had March and April,
May,
April and May. Oh, then I had February and March.
March.
April, May, and you had June and July.
Mhm.
So then that left you, right? Or what did you have?
I know I've got in the fall. So I've got like October, November, or September, October.
Okay,
Something like that. So, but you know what,
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff,
okay.
I'll text her tomorrow.
Find out.
And then.
And
How soon,
the shirts, if we do the shirts, they were nice to have if we start up the neighborhood watch it again.
okay.
Because we would be serving pizzas and having a meeting somewhere in each different neighborhoods. And public councilman have asked me or someone to, let's bring that back on the table.
I've got a bunch of information and I'd like to present that at one of the next meetings.
I still have stickers,
Yeah.
it's not.
And then when are we gonna present our own items for
Also in this, that was mentioned also in those 2 months.
in those 2 months? We're gonna set one meeting aside rather than pushing it all into with their presentations.
We should be. Honestly, how many people, how many committees do you think will show up?
I think art and history will. And I think
Sure.
Parks and Recreation will.
I'm sure.
There's two, right?
Oxford will.
Follow those.
And possibly the, what was that, environmental commission?
Environmental.
You had an idea?
Yeah,
Okay, so.
Okay.
Of my percentage, nobody.
and at the last council meeting, just throw this out. Mayor Osley is not happy about all of the duck poop all over the sidewalks here. And he just threw that out there. And
He
I
got city to, I'm like, he's got the city thing to clean it up.
he doesn't have the staff to do it. That's why they're not doing it. Maybe that's something we could look at.
I got
You
a
know?
shepherd who rounds them up pretty well.
I'm like, you don't need them too.
Wow.
Like this, who put the duck out of the booth?
I'm like,
It's embarrassing to have people come and visit our city and come here and
that's
there's
nice to
people on
know.
the sidewalk.
That's nice to know.
Well, it's something we could consider.
That's nice to know.
Clean up.
That's nice to know. If there's all these, the geese and everything, that's nice to know. If he wants to present it to us, he can present it to us. But, yeah, meeting's adjourned. I got the neighborhood watch, find the house of the month, name tag, business cards, shirts and the jacket. Before we all say aye and aye, anything else?
Oh, I just wanted to ask, is that National Night Out part of the neighborhood thing? Because they have, I saw something, for Seaside, that they're having the National Night Out, I think on August 1st.
Yes.
We have a table.
Okay.
See, that's why we should
Oh,
have
no,
stuff.
wait a second, we have a table, but we didn't even talk about it, I didn't even know that. So do we need to be there? Do we need to man the table?
We should do it this year. I mean, sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't.
I thought I saw it on Facebook, it was the 1st. But I don't know.
August
Just
1st.
give us the table.
Can we do a table last year?
Yeah, we did a table last. It was the year before, I think Alex did it, yeah. That's why we should have flag, hello.
Yes.
I'll work on that. Our next meeting is when?
Say,
August 8th. All right, August 8th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I do have it down as August 1st for National Night Out at City Hall at 4 p.m.
Yeah, so I'll email, we'll figure it out.
And our commissioner meeting will be the 8th.
Yes,
Okay.
okay,
So
so,
Karen's at the table, like we usually do. You know, whoever wants to come. I have no life anymore. I'm here.
okay, all those in favor for adjournment, say aye. Aye. Okay, y'all have a good evening, thank you very much, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
By the way, did you want to know what that number was of the one that we voted on?
Which one?
For the House of the Month? It was 1395 military.
1395 military.
That was the house that we voted for House of the Month.
Ooh.
And then 1705 military was a runner-up.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to know that.
I don't want to come to my- that's cool. I was in the hospital all weekend again,
Oh my God, for your headaches? I'm so sorry to hear that.
and yeah,
What did have they found out? Are they supposed to figure out why you're getting those?
no.
Well, I'm glad you made it to the meeting.
Had a doctor's appointment. We're like,
I saw your profile on LinkedIn and I said,
yeah, I did, I accepted you. Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I just wanna,
No,
I don't have time. Some people are like, no,
no, babe, I accepted, I'm like, oh,
But you look so different because your hair is short.
oh, yeah, that was when I was on the school board, I think I did that when I was on the school board, or was that when I was working at the bank the first time? It was,
Are you still working at the bank?
no.
Oh, because of the headaches, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I have no job. Are you going to the thing on Thursday? I should have.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
I am going in person. I'm not doing it in Zoom.
I forgot to remind everybody. I signed up.
Well, you can send out an email.
I am. Yeah, you want to do that?
I did sign up for the in person. I could have done it on Zoom, but I thought I'm a person that likes to be in person. So I plan to be here.
Yeah, I am too. I will do, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on my computer or my phone all day tomorrow. My lifeline.
I hope I didn't get too out of line with Ray there. I just got.